Well, another great edition of the Garden Show here on 95.3 WBCK. And Mr. Bob Coward, we had a lot of questions, and this week, a lot of greenhouses opening, so it's definitely a good time to get out and get out to that garden.
Yeah, it is, and it's a lot of people are going to the garden centers and buying their trees and fruit trees and things like that. My number one rule with landscaping is take your tape measure, because you need to measure the space you have to find the plant that fits in there. So if you want to plant a tree that gets 50 or 60 feet tall and 50 or 60 feet wide, make sure there's room for that. Look overhead and make sure there's no power lines or wires that tree might get into. If there is, pick a tree that only gets maybe 15 or 20 feet tall to fit that space. Also, you know, if you're putting trees or plants around your foundation of your house, don't try to put a plant that gets 8 or 10 feet tall into a 2x2 square. You want to make sure you're picking a plant that'll fit that space, and that's where the garden center can help you with it. The tag will tell you so, so take your tape measure and measure. And
especially on Earth Day today, this would be a good weekend to consider planting a tree.
That's right. We're losing more trees than we're planting, so it's a good idea to plant some new trees, but it's very critical that you put the right tree in the right place. So take your tape measure and measure. Make sure you check and make sure that tree's going to fit the space and will grow in that particular location. And we have hundreds of varieties to choose from, so it's not too hard to find the right tree for the right place.
And also this weekend, even though it's still considered spring, there's a lot of windows that are starting to close, especially in the grass.
Yeah, if you want to plant your grass seed, you really want to get that down soon, because we're coming to the end of grass seeding for the springtime season. And crabgrass preventer should be going down this week. We got about another 7 to 10 days left to get your crabgrass preventer down, and if you don't, you're going to miss the boat.
Is there anything else that we need to look at for the upcoming week?
Good time to get your soil tested to find out where you're at with your garden or your lawn. You can always take a sample, take it down to the Farm Bureau and send it off and let them have the lab analyze it.
All right, sounds good, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds good.